Good afternoon, learners. My name is Atrey Sinha, Academic Officer English from National Institute of Open Schooling. In our last class, we have read A Tiger Comes to Town, Part 1 by R.K. Narayan. Today, we will read the next part, that is A Tiger Comes to Town, Part 2 by R.K. Narayan, which is included in our secondary English course 202 as lesson number 6. Before starting the lesson, we will look into the learning outcomes of the text. So, first of all, after completing the lesson, the learner reads and enjoys the story, challenge common myths and superstitions related to animals, write an appropriate reply to a letter of complaint, and convert sentences into reported speech. Then use prefixes and contractions effectively. They will also be able to evaluate a situation from different perspectives. They will also be able to identify words in the text by applying their given meanings to the context of the text, and finally they will also enhance their vocabulary of antonyms. So, in the part 1, if we quickly recapitulate the story of part 1, it depicts a scene where the arrival of a tiger creates panic and fear among the people in the market road. And the tiger, who is the narrator also, reflects on his experiences in the circus, and he contrasted it with the reaction of humans to the presence of a tiger outside of the circus environment. Despite the animal's lack of aggressive intent, the deep-rooted fear ingrained in humans by societal narratives about dangerous animals leads to irrational and exaggerated responses. A tailor shut himself in a cupboard. Two constables fled to save own life, ignoring their duty of escorting a criminal. The passengers of a cart spill out of the carriage and scatter in fear. People lock themselves into their rooms and so on. Then the tiger reached a restaurant only to observe people, but the customers and also the cashier in the restaurant started panicking. And next he describes the joyful reaction of children to the news that schools are being closed due to the presence of a tiger. Then the tiger entered into the headmaster's room, and the headmaster, jumping on his table, was trying to heave himself up into an attic. And that juxtaposed the perceived dignity and authority of a headmaster and the disruption caused by the tiger's unexpected presence. However, the tiger found the headmaster's room very cozy and slept over there. And that was the time when he was locked in that room. And then the tiger's master intervenes during a conversation where the tiger is referred to as a beast or a brute. And his intervention challenges the derogatory language used to describe the animal and encourages a more respectful and empathetic attitude towards all living beings. And then a disagreement between the tiger's master and the teachers regarding the appropriateness of discussing vocabulary issues followed. And the master's willingness to engage in discussion about vocabulary reflects his commitment to principles of respect and empathy, even in seemingly inconsequential matters. Now we will see what happened next, but one thing I want to discuss a little bit, that is, we have learned from part 1 that the tiger was locked in the headmaster's room, and we do not know what happened to the headmaster, right? We don't know whether he was fled or he is still in that room. We will see that in the next part, that is the part 2 of the lesson. Let's read the lesson. First, the first paragraph goes like that. Meanwhile, I awoke after a very good stretch of sleep and heard voices outside. I looked up and saw the headmaster cowering in the attic. I stretched myself and roared for no particular reason except that I felt alive. So, meanwhile, I awoke after a very good stretch of sleep and heard voices outside. So, this line sets the scene by telling us that the tiger, the speaker, who is referred as I in the line, has just woken up from a satisfying sleep and he heard voices outside, and it suggests that something interesting or unusual is happening nearby. I looked up and saw the headmaster cowering in the attic. So the tiger looked up and noticed the headmaster hiding or crouching fearfully in the attic. So this implies that the headmaster is scared and still in that room. Most importantly, someone has locked the headmaster also in that room where the tiger is there. So this situation that the tiger looked up and saw the headmaster cowering in the attic implies that the headmaster is scared, and that's very obvious, and trying to avoid the tiger. He doesn't know, the headmaster doesn't know that the tiger doesn't have any harmful intention. How does he know? And he tries to save himself from the tiger. So I stretched myself and roared for no particular reason except that I felt alive. So that the tiger stretched his body and let out a loud, powerful sound that is like a roar. And he mentioned that he did this without a specific reason other than feeling energized and full of life. Then the next part of this paragraph, the poor human being in the loft must have trembled at the moment. Poor human being is referring to the headmaster. The poor human being in the loft must have trembled at the moment. I wished to assure him that I was not going to hurt him. I raised myself, put up my forelegs on the wall, scratched it and growled softly, which made him more nervous. So, the poor human being in the loft must have trembled at the moment. So, the tiger, who is not a human, believes that the human, that means the headmaster is being referred to in the loft, is trembling, meaning the headmaster is feeling scared. The tiger is assuming that the headmaster is feeling scared. And the speaker empathizes with the headmaster's fear with the word poor. I wish to assure him that I was not going to hurt him. So the tiger wants to let the headmaster know that he don't intend to harm or injure him. And the speaker wants to comfort the headmaster and make him feel safe. But what happened? I raised myself, put up my forelegs on the wall, scratched it and growled softly. So the speaker is describing his actions to communicate with the headmaster, and he stands up on his hind legs, put his front legs or forelegs on the wall, scratch the wall and make a soft growling sound. Then, which made him more nervous. So despite the tiger's positive intentions to reassure the headmaster, and his actions actually make the headmaster more nervous. And the headmaster, the human being, becomes even more scared or anxious because of the tiger's behavior. Possibly because he interprets the growling and scratching as a threatening gesture. Next paragraph. I knew my master was outside. I could hear him say, "No one is going to school. You will see the tiger come out and walk off with me. One of you take a ladder in and help the headmaster come down from the attic." So, I knew my master was outside. This means that the speaker, the tiger, understood or had a feeling that his master was outside, and he might have heard or sensed his presence. He had heard the voice of his master. So he says that I knew my master was outside. And what was the master saying? I could hear him say, the tiger could hear what his master was saying, that no one is going to school. The master is declaring that nobody is going to school, and this could mean that there is a situation where nobody is allowed to go to school, and possibly due to some danger or other circumstances, and that is the thing because in the school there is a tiger, and in our common assumption the tiger is a predatory animal. So the master of the tiger is declaring that nobody is going to school. Afterwards, you will see the tiger come out and walk off with me. Here the master is saying something quite unusual for all, even for the audience, the reader, and also for the characters present there. The master is sure enough that the tiger will come out with the master and will walk away without making any harm to anybody. And he is so confident because he is the master of that creature, master of the tiger. He knows the tiger very well. That's why he is so confident. One of you take a ladder. The master is further ordering that one of you take a ladder in and help the headmaster come down from the attic. So the tiger's master is instructing to take a ladder inside the building and assist the headmaster in coming down from the attic. Next paragraph. Do you mean to say you are going in as you were, without arms or protection? They asked him. Yes, that's what I am going to do. We have no time to waste. So, here the people gathered outside the headmaster's room are asking the tiger's master if he is planning to enter the headmaster's room without any weapons or any protection. Do you mean to say you are going in as you were, without arms or protection? They asked him. Arms means weapons like guns or sword, and protection refers to things that keep one safe like armor or shields. So, what was the reaction of the master? Yes, that's what I am going to do. We have no time to waste. So the master responds assertively. He is indeed planning to go in without any weapons or protection, and he emphasizes that he doesn't want to waste any time. The master seems very determined and in a hurry to get things done, to have that tiger and to be safe, to save everyone from that possessing danger from the tiger. Next paragraph. The chairman of the Tiger Committee said, by the powers I have being the second honorary magistrate, I give you notice that you shall not open nor enter that room. My master asked, why do you prevent me from going near the tiger? So here the chairman of the Tiger Committee has already arrived at the scene, and he said, by the powers I have been the second honorary magistrate. So he has the power of second honorary magistrate, and I give you notice that you shall not open nor enter that room. So the Tiger Committee must be a group concerned with tigers, perhaps conservation of or protection of the tigers. And so the chairman of the Tiger Committee mentions that he possesses the authority of the second honorary magistrate, which is a legal position. And he is further giving a notice, further giving an order that the master of the tiger is not allowed to open or enter into the headmaster's room without any arms or without any protection. My master asked, why do you prevent me from going near the tiger? So the master then wants to know why the chairman is being stopped from he is being stopped from getting close to the tiger by the chairman, and the master is confident on his activity, but the chairman is not, right? What happened next? They were at a loss to answer. It's unlawful to commit suicide, they said. Maybe, said the master, but which section of the law says that a man shouldn't approach a tiger? Are not circus people doing it all the time? So here an argument between the chairman and the master of the tiger follows. They were at a loss to answer. This means that the people being talked about didn't know how to respond to the question. And it's unlawful to commit suicide, they said. What did they answer? It's unlawful to commit suicide. That they say that it's against the law to commit suicide, and going to a room where there is a tiger without any protection, without any armor, is something similar to committing a suicide. So they are saying that it's against the law to commit suicide. Maybe, said the master, but which section of the law says that a man shouldn't approach a tiger? Here the master is questioning the idea presented by the others. He is saying that maybe it's against the law to commit suicide, but which specific part of the law forbids someone from approaching a tiger? According to the master, he is approaching to a tiger. He is not going to commit a suicide. But for all, apart from the master, even for we, the audience, he is approaching a tiger itself. Be it with the armor or with the protection, it is something like a suicide, right? But this is not the same for the master. So he is arguing that maybe committing suicide is against the law, but there is no such law that that says that someone couldn't approach a tiger. So that's an argument going on. Then further he says that the master says that are not circus people doing it all the time? So the master is further pointing out that circus performers often approach tigers as a part of their acts, and he is asking whether approaching tiger is against the law when circus performers are doing it regularly without any legal repercussions. That's the argument. Then what happened next? Yes, replied the chairman weakly, but that's different. I can tame a tiger. It's after all my life that I am risking. So the chairman responded with a yes, but in a weak or very feeble manner. He is not sounding very confident or strong in his response. Yes, replied the chairman weakly, but that's different. The chairman is suggesting that there is a distinction or a difference between the master going to the room where the tiger is located and presenting tiger in a circus. I can tame a tiger. It's after all my life that I am risking. Here the master is asserting that he has the ability to tame a tiger, which means he believes that he can control or manage the dangerous animal. And he further argues that he is risking his own life by doing so. Others shouldn't stop him. And he seems very confident in handling the risk. Then next paragraph. The chairman was visibly confused and bewildered. In that case, you will have to sign an affidavit absolving us from all responsibilities for your life or death. So here the chairman was visibly confused and bewildered. This means that the chairman looked visibly confused and bewildered. Visibly means that it was easy to perceive, easy to see, and bewildered means feeling very puzzled or confused. And in that case, you will have to sign an affidavit absolving us from all responsibilities for your life or death. So what the chairman argues that in that case, if you are really want to enter the room, you have to sign an affidavit. So the chairman declares that the master needs to sign an affidavit and a document, and if he is determined to get into the headmaster's room where the tiger is located. And this document would say that the chairman and others present there and not responsible for what happens to the master's life or death. Absolving means clearing or releasing someone from a responsibility. That's the point of the chairman from his case. What happened next? All right, give me a piece of paper and tell me what to write. So this is the speech from the master. He says that, all right, give me a piece of paper and tell me what to write. The magistrate took out a sheet of paper from his briefcase and gave it to my master. And my master wrote the chairman's dictation, absolving everyone there from all responsibility. So, all right, give me a piece of paper and tell me what to write. So, the master is readily agreeing to sign on the affidavit. He is asking for a piece of paper and guidance on what exactly he needs to write on it. And he wants instruction on what to say in the affidavit. It shows his determination to handle the situation and his confidence in doing so. And the magistrate took out a sheet of paper from his briefcase and gave it to my master. So the magistrate pulled a piece of paper out of his briefcase and handed it to the tiger's master. Notice that both are very ready in their action. First, the master is very ready to sign on anything, declare anything to catch the tiger, to be allowed to catch the tiger, to be precise. And the magistrate, who is a legal authority, he is also ready to provide a piece of paper, provide a legal document. Both are ready to do what are they are supposed to do, what are their job, right? Move on to the chapter, move on to the next portion. My master wrote the chairman's dictation. It means that the master listened to what the chairman said and wrote it down, absolving everyone there from all responsibility. This means that whatever was written down on the paper cleared or released everyone who was present there from any responsibility or blame for a possible death of the master. In other words, it excused them from any fatal consequences related to the master, right? Next paragraph. He signed the document and returned it with the comment, I have signed it just to respect your magistracy, although I am convinced it is uncalled for and irrelevant. You are exercising unnecessary authority. So, what was the reaction after signing on the document? He signed the document and returned it with the comment. The master puts his signature on the affidavit and then wrote something about it before submitting it. I have signed it just to respect your magistracy. So, this part suggests that the master signed in the document out of respect for the authority or position of the chairman. Magistracy, the term here refers to authority or position of the person who requested the signature. Although I am convinced it's uncalled for and irrelevant. So the master further comments that even though he believed the document is unnecessary and not important, he still signed it. You are exercising unnecessary authority. This part implies that the master believes that the chairman is using his power or authority in a way that isn't needed or justified. We will look on the next part of this story, but before that, let's have a short break.
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोट से युक्त हो।
कहीं पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोट से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने हम, अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम, अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर। दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत,
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने हम, अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम, अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने
Welcome back, learners. We were reading A Tiger Comes to Town Part 2. We will start from this paragraph. The chairman looked at the document and said, "Stop, wait, tell me what is it that you have written here?" "Only what you have dictated." "In a language we don't know. I can't accept it." So, the chairman looked at the document, the affidavit where the master has written his declaration, and said, "Stop, wait, tell me what is it that you have written here." The chairman read the paper and told the master to hold on, to wait, and then asked him to read whatever he has written on the paper. "Only what you have dictated?" So the master replied that he had only written down exactly what the chairman had told him to write. "In a language we don't know. I can't accept it." So the master may have written it not in a commonly used language, so the chairman could not understand it. Thus he could not approve or accept it as a declaration. Next, it's in Sanskrit, in which our scriptures are written, the language of the gods. I write only Sanskrit, although I know 10 other languages including Japanese. Without further ado, he put the key into the lock of the headmaster's room. So, it's in Sanskrit, in which our scriptures are written, the language of the gods. So, these lines means that the master has written the affidavit in Sanskrit. Sanskrit, as we all know, is an ancient language used to write many religious texts and scriptures in India. And people consider it as a sacred language associated with gods and spirituality. Thus, the master referred it as the language of the gods. I write only Sanskrit, although I know 10 other languages including Japanese. And this means that the master can write not only in Sanskrit, even knows 10 other languages, one of which is Japanese. And it highlights his proficiency and dedication to Sanskrit despite knowing multiple languages. Without further ado, he put the key into the lock of the headmaster's room. This part shows that the master is taking action without wasting any time or delay. He is putting the key into the lock of the headmaster's room and about to enter the room without any hesitation. Next paragraph. Let us go now, said the master. You must realize that human beings, for all their bluster, are timid creatures. They are likely to panic when they see you. Don't look at them. That's the only way to maintain one's peace of mind. So, let us go now, said the master. So, the master is suggesting that they should enter into the room at the time. You must realize that human beings, for all their bluster, are timid creatures. So, he further says that all must realize that human beings, despite appearing confident, are actually quite fearful creatures by nature. Bluster means boasting or showing off. They are likely to panic when they see you. He is explaining that when human beings see the animals, they tend to get scared and become anxious. Don't look at them. So the master advised not to look or pay attention. That's the only way to maintain one's peace of mind. He concludes that it is the only way to keep calm and not to get disturbed. So that's all about the second part of the story, A Tiger Comes to Town by R.K. Narayan. And this part opens as the tiger wakes up and stretches himself. The headmaster, who has been sitting in the loft all the time, is frightened to see the tiger awake. And the tiger wants to tell him that he is not going to harm him, but he cannot communicate this to him. And moreover, his action further made him scared. The tiger then hears his master arguing with the teachers to allow him to enter the headmaster's room to fetch the tiger, and the teachers do not want him to go in without arms or some sort of protection. At that point, we were introduced with the chairman of the tiger committee by the Powers, who was the second honorary magistrate. He is responsible for the law and order in his area and thus comes to the school to solve the problem of the runaway circus tiger who has entered the headmaster's room. And he forbids the master of the tiger, from entering the room. When the master argues with him and insists on going in, the magistrate tells him to sign an affidavit declaring that no one should be held responsible for the master's death in case the tiger attacks him. And he will let him go into the headmaster's room only then. And the magistrate wants to take all legal precautions, and the circus master agrees with all the precautions, all the conditions that the magistrate puts forth. And the magistrate dictates the content of the affidavit to the circus master. And now the master, who is very angry with the teachers and the magistrate, decides to teach them a lesson. He writes the affidavit in Sanskrit, and which they cannot read or understand. And the master wants to prove to the learned magistrate and the teachers that if they cannot understand ancient language, their assumption about the tiger's behavior in the situation may also be flawed. So that's all about the story of this lesson, A Tiger Comes to Town Part 2. We will now move on to the writing section of this lesson. First, there is formal letter writing. On the screen you may see a sample that is already in your SLM, a sample of a formal letter writing. That's how the formal letter should be displayed like. So this is a sample. This letter is written by the Secretary, Parents Association of Malgudi Public School, which is situated in Malgudi, and this letter is written to the principal of Malgudi Public School, situated in Malgudi, and this letter is written on 27th of October 2010, right? So there is a salutation like "Dear Sir," then there is a subject, and the subject of the letter is security measures at school. We do not provide any subject to any informal letter, but in formal letter we have to mention the subject like that. Then we have the body of the letter. Then we write "Yours sincerely," and then the signature of the writer, signature of the sender of that letter. That's the basic structure. While writing a formal letter, we have to keep in mind two things. That one is the format of the letter and the second is the content of the letter. In the format, as you can see on the slide, that there is the heading. The heading complies the address and date of the letter. Then a courteous greeting or salutation, just we have a dear sir. And then we have the subject line, as I have already discussed. Then the content or the body or the main message. Then the subscription, followed by the signature of the sender. That's the basic format. We have to follow this basic format while writing a formal letter. Then we have to concentrate on the content of the letter, and the content of the letter complies the matter, the style, the tone, and we have to write the letter in a very simple and direct language, and we have to write to the point, and we have to be accurate and fluent in the language while writing a formal letter. So that's the two main component of a formal letter, that is the format and the content. And while we follow the format and the content, prescribed format and the content with the sample, we have seen how it will be looked in the sample formal letter. So moving on, we have the grammar, where there is a prefix. A prefix is a group of letters added before a word to change its meaning. As we can see, it's on the slide, and as you have seen in your SLM, that relevant is something means something, and if we say irrelevant, that is the opposite of what relevant means, right? So we are adding ir before the word relevant and the meaning changes. Similarly, we are saying human means something, and if we add in before the word human, it means something else, human, inhuman. So this is the prefix ir or in. These are the prefix, these are group of letters added before words to change the meaning of that particular words, right? This is the function of prefix. Moving on, we have direct indirect speech. Let's imagine there are three persons, Mr. Rao, Mr. Mehta and Mr. William. Mr. Rao, as you can see on the slide, Mr. Rao is saying something to Mr. Mehta. This is Mr. Rao is speaking something to Mr. Mehta, right? Now Mr. Mehta has to say whatever Mr. Rao has said to someone else, that is Mr. William. Now we will say that Mr. Mehta is reporting to Mr. William, right? So Mr. Rao is speaking something to Mr. Mehta, and Mr. Mehta is reporting whatever Mr. Rao has said to Mr. William. That's the basic concept of direct indirect speech. Now let's have an example of changing direct and indirect speech. Mr. Rao said to Mr. Mehta, I have to go to the town today. So here I refers to Mr. Rao. Now when Mr. Rao has to report, when Mr. Mehta has to report that to Mr. Williams, what would he say? Mr. Rao told Mr. Mehta, or Mr. Rao reported Mr. Mehta that he had to go to the town that day. Notice that I has been changed to he, right? And also have changed to had because of the tense of the reporting verb. So in indirect speech we will say Mr. Rao told Mr. Mehta that he had to go to the town that day. So that's the first one is an example of direct speech, and the second one is an example of indirect speech. Moving on, we have contractions. Contractions is a short form which are used very often in spoken English or in informal writing. What is that? Two words have been combined to make one word. And notice also that an apostrophe is inserted in place of the letter which is omitted. Have some example in the next slide. I am late. We can write we can join that I and am and write like that. I apostrophe M. We are omitting A and inserting an apostrophe in place of A, right? Next, he has come to take her books. He has, instead of he has, we are writing he apostrophe S. Has come to take her books. Next, she was late in submitting her assignment. Was she not? She was late in submitting her assignment. Wasn't she? Was and not. We are combining was and not and writing wasn't. Wasn't she? Right? These are the examples of contractions. Next, we will have at a glance, we will have a relook of the story at a glance. So we can learn from this story that animals do not attack unless they are deprived of food or are teased. Next, our fear of animals arises out of our inability to understand them. Then finally, our ideas and fears about animals are based on this limited and often incorrect knowledge, right? That's what we have learned from this story, A Tiger Comes to Town, part A and part B by R.K. Narayan. Next, we will move on to the question paper design and the bifurcation of our upcoming exam will be held in April. So first of all, we will look into the bifurcation of the syllabus for the secondary English codes, code number 202. You can find it well in the website as well as at the beginning of your SLM. So the total number of chapters, the total number of lesson is 27, and these 27 lessons are distributed between the TMA, tutor marked assignment, and the public examination. 40% lesson will be from TMA, that is now lesson 11, number of lesson 11, and 60% of the syllabus will be in public examination, that is number of lesson is 16. So 11 lessons are there under TMA and 16 lessons are there in public examination. You can see what are the part of which lessons are from TMA and which lessons are from public examination from this slide, from our website, and as well as from your SLM, right? Next, we will move on to the question paper design. First, the weightage by objectives. So the objectives of our question paper would be to assess the learner's knowledge, understanding and expression, that is the application. So you may expect knowledge based question 30%, understanding based question 35%, and application based or expression based question 35%. Total 100% marks. So you may expect in that format. Next, we have the question paper design by weightage. So first of all, among that the lessons which are included in the term end exams, the public examination, among them you have two part of the question paper. If you divide your whole question paper, there will be two parts. One is objective and then the subjective. Then objective is divided into four parts: the comprehension part, then the grammar, then the writing, and then the prescribed text. And all the similarly with the subjective part. Subjective part is also divided into four parts like that. Now in the objective type of question, there will be 1 mark question, there will be 2 mark question with 2 subpoints, 3 marks question with 3 subpoints, 4 mark question with 4 subpoints, and 5 marks question with 5 subpoints, right? And that means each and every question would carry only 1 marks, and in that way you have to attempt 50 questions. And also notice that objective type of questions must have 25 internal choices. So out of these 50 questions, 25 questions have internal choices, and you can attempt any one of them. So that's the objective type of questions. And you may expect objective type of questions like MCQs, like fill in the blanks, true, false, one word substitution, matching. And among them, you must remember that 20 questions will be MCQ. Only 20 questions will be MCQ, I repeat, and Other 30 questions will be of another type, like fill in the blanks, matching, true, false, and any other other than MCQ. Okay, so that's the format of objective type of question, and you will get objective type of questions from unseen passages, from grammar, from writing, and from prescribed text as well. And then we have the subjective type of questions. In subjective type of questions, there is VSA, or very short answer type questions, and each VSA will carry 2 marks, and you have to attempt 13 VSA, and only 6 questions have internal choices. So in this way, 13 into 2, it total 26 marks. Then we have short answer type questions, which will carry each of the short answer type questions will carry 3 marks. We have to attempt 2 questions, and 1 question will have an internal choice. So 3 into 2, total 6. Then we have long answer type questions that will carry 4 marks, and we have to attempt 3 long answer type questions, and 2 among them would have internal choices. So 3 into 4, 12. Then we have essay type questions, which will carry 6 marks, and we have to only attempt 1 essay type of questions out of 2. So 6 into 1, total 6. So 26 plus 6 plus 12 plus 6, that would carry 50 marks. So objective type of questions will carry 50 marks, and subjective type of questions will carry 50 marks. Total 100 marks questions. Alright. Next we have question paper design, weightage by contents. So as you can see that comprehension and vocabulary, so non-prescribed text, which we commonly known as unseen passages, will have 15 marks, including objective and subjective. Grammar will carry 30 marks, including subjective and objective. Writing skills will carry 25 marks, including subjective and objective, and prescribed text from the SLM, from the book, will carry 30 marks, both subjective and objective. Right? So total 15 plus 30 plus 25 plus 30 will carry 100 marks. In this way, the 100 marks will be distributed among the modules. Next, we will have the difficulty level. You may expect 20% of the total question paper would be very difficult, and 45 of questions will be average type, and 35% of question will be very easy type. Next, we will move on to the sample question paper provided on the website. That is, the full maximum marks for the question will be 100 marks, and the time for that question to attempt these 100 marks is 3 hours. There will be a short note before the sample question paper. You can see that in the website, that first there are 33 questions in all, divided into 2 parts. As I have already said, that the last mark for the last question will be 33, and these 33 questions are divided into subjective parts and objective parts. All questions are compulsory. As I have already said, that there will be internal choices, right? So any particular questions have choices, so you have to keep in mind. Marks for each questions are indicated against it. Question number 1 to 16 are objective type of question in subparts that include MCQ, fill in the blanks, true false, match the column, one word answer type questions, and so on. Question number 7 to 22, 24 and 31 to 32 are short answer type short answer questions carrying 2 marks, that is the VSA, very short answer type questions. Answer to these questions should not exceed 30 words each. Then we have questions number 33 is carrying 3 marks. Answer to these questions should not exceed 40 words. Question number 23 is carrying 4 marks. Answers to these questions should not exceed 100 words. And then we have question number 25 is a long answer question carrying 6 marks, and answer to the question should not exceed 150 to 200 words. Question number 26 to 27 have 2 test items in subparts, 1 mark each. Question number 28 consists of 3 test items in subparts of 1 mark each. And question number 29 to 30 consists of 4 test items in subparts of 1 mark each. So, whatever it is 2-mark question or 3-mark question or 4-mark question or 5-mark question in the objective part, you will have that subparts, equal number of subparts. That means each question will carry 1 marks, whether it is 2 marks question or 3 marks or 4 marks. I think I have explained all these question paper design to you. If you have any queries, please feel free to contact me. Till then, we will come with another lesson in our next class. Till then, thank you.
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय शिक्षा संस्थान द्वारा कृषि क्षेत्र में कौशल विकास कार्यक्रम। भारतीय अर्थव्यवस्था के विकास में कृषि क्षेत्र की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है। भारतीय सकल घरेलू उत्पाद के लिए कृषि एवं पशुपालन बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। हमारे देश की लगभग आधी आबादी परोक्ष या अपरोक्ष रूप से कृषि एवं पशुपालन से संबंधित व्यवसाय से जुड़ी हुई है। हमारी बढ़ती आबादी की आवश्यकताओं को पूरा